And finally tonight, we turn to two students, one senior and one freshman, for some analysis of this week's news. Joining us is Zach Morgan and Andy Greene of WRGW's Political Pulse talk show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
To start off, we had an interview earlier with Nicole Kepp, and she's wrapping up her year. What is your impression as that winds down? Andy?
Very simply, it's three things they did this year which are often overlooked, but they're very simple issues that they got done. Colonial invasion, something that hadn't been happening, they brought it back. The Safeway option for your G World, great idea, I use it often. And also the newspaper initiative. Who doesn't want to go downstairs and get a Washington Post? Just simple things that are often overlooked. I mean, Nicole and Brand didn't promise the world, they promised certain things, and they got it done.
All three of the things that you said there, they were done before the school year started. I mean, what is your impression as a freshman, of the essay? Do you feel like it's something that gets stuff done? Has Nicole raised the bar?
Well, I didn't have anything to go on, but definitely they've done a good job, and I think they've left a standard to be followed for next year's essay.
And Zach, you've been here. You're a senior now. You're going to be graduating soon. You've been here through Uday Shakur, Lamar, all these things. I mean, what is your impression? Same question. Has she raised the bar?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like the bar was set very high from Uday Shakur and Lamar Thorpe. And I'm biased. I'm Assistant Vice President of Community Affairs for the essay right now. So, but no, I think Nicole's done a great job. She's really brought competence back to the essay.
Okay. Another thing that we looked at tonight, Virginia Tech. What really are the lessons of Virginia Tech coming out of it?
Well, I think you have to look at a couple of things. First of all, a lot of people want to say this was a failing of gun control laws and that we have to look at the individual involved. But I think there's a broader issue. What does it say as a society that an individual goes into a school and shoots people? And also you have to look at what did the university do in response to it? Did they play a part in it?
The Virginia Tech?
The Virginia Tech University. Any university, honestly, when it comes to these type of things. It needs to be something that I think all universities look at. They need to look at their safety policies. They need to look at their evacuation policies. Just an all-around thorough investigation.
A year later, does it make you more or less willing to support gun control?
I don't think gun control is really the issue there. I think it's more of issues with people our age today. If the laws in the book would have been enforced, he wouldn't have gotten the guns in the first place. So I don't think we need more gun control laws.
What about you, Zach?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the real problem was that Cho was not considered to be mentally incompetent to get a gun in Virginia. And then again, the biggest failure of Virginia Tech, besides obviously the fact that Cho was allowed to enter campus with the gun, was that the administration did not lock down the hall after he'd already killed a couple people. I mean, this did not need to be a slaughter, and the university administration just made such a hash of it.
Do you feel like we're prepared at GW?
I'm a part of that. I subscribe to that GW alert system, and I'll get text messages every so often about certain things. I think that's a good step forward. But honestly, we're in the middle of D.C. I don't know how we would respond. It's just one of those things. I don't think unless it would happen, I really don't know. And one of the society question, when I've talked to people about this, one question that always come up is, are these type of things fully preventable? I mean, no, I don't think you can. Whenever you have an individual that's unstable and wants to do that, I think it could happen no matter what you do. I think the best we can do is enforce the laws in the books and help individuals with counseling. But as far as preventing it totally, it's not possible.
Earlier on this program, Beverly Glenn, head of the Hamilton Fish Institute, said that she was against Dolores Stafford, chief of UPD, wanting to give guns to sworn officers. Because she said that the answer to end violence is not bringing in more guns. Do you think it's a good idea for UPD officers to carry guns? I'd like to hear both of your opinions on that.
Okay. Well, I think you need to be careful with it, obviously, but I think one of the things that has been proven time and time again, and we talk to criminals in prison, is that if they suspected that the person who they were planning to rob was armed, they're far less likely to commit the crime. In Kennesaw, Georgia, they required every family, every household to have a gun. Crime fell by 89%. Nobody wants to rob a house if someone has a gun. So I think there's definitely a deterrent level effect there. But there is also, we don't just want some grad student UPD officers. We'd want trained police officers who have used guns or certified to use guns and would only use them as a last resort, obviously.
When I look at UPD, I don't really think they need guns. The instances they run into very rarely would involve a gun, and they can call MPD and they can be over right away. I think UPD needs to focus on the role as campus security.
Right, and I mean, one of the points you just made, if there's a robbery and it's a deterrent, I mean, those aren't really the types of crimes you see on this campus, at least. That's
true, but I mean, but what you're asking about is a Virginia Tech type of incident, and I think that if someone who's planning something like that believes that there is reasonable cause that he would be quickly apprehended and quickly stopped, which is the best way to do that with somebody who has a gun, is to shoot them with another gun, in my opinion. I think that could play a deterrence level effect, similar to what has been shown in deterring other criminals with guns.
All right, let's move on to the wide world of politics. Big week. Hillary wins Pennsylvania primary. I know you're both Republicans. You say you're a little bit more moderate, but does Hillary Clinton have a chance to win this nomination?
Well, what I like to do when I look at her chances, look at the numbers. She's up 24 superdelegates, but down by almost 200 delegates. We have 8 more primaries and 1 more caucus. Mathematically, she really can't catch up, but I don't think that's the point. As long as she stays in the race and is within about 100, 200 delegates, she's going to take this all the way to the convention, and we could probably end up with a brokered convention. I don't see her winning the nomination, but she's going to stay in it.
Who is that helping? Is that helping Hillary Clinton? Is that helping?
It's a self-serving purpose.
What do you think, Zach?
Well, yes, it's possible Hillary Clinton could be the nominee. I mean, tomorrow lightning could strike Barack Obama. I think I do not believe that the Democratic superdelegates, when push comes to shove, they have what Doug Feith likes to call chutzpah and stilts. I mean, to look at the first real African-American candidate with a chance of winning the Democratic nomination, a guy who has an opportunity to bring millions of youth voters into the Democratic Party, and to tell him, no, go to the back of the line behind the white woman, I don't see the Democratic Party doing that. It would break apart their coalition.
Sticking on that for a second, the white vote is incredibly low for Obama. Clinton garnered only 8% of the black vote in Pennsylvania. What is the effect of that division on the general election?
When you're looking at states such as Ohio and Pennsylvania and Barack Obama's not winning them, that's not good for the Democratic Party. Those are the states he's going to need to win the general election. And if he's not getting a lot of the white vote, that'll affect him in some western states as well. And if Hillary's not getting the black vote, that'll affect her throughout the country.
Here's a question, too. New polls out in the past couple of days, at least 3 polls show that John McCain could win Massachusetts over Obama. Why do you think that is? Why could John McCain, win Massachusetts and maybe win the election?
Well, I think the Massachusetts is a specific isolated incident. You've got in Massachusetts the governor's Deval Patrick, who ran as a young, charismatic African-American candidate on a Together We Can platform. He's also national co-chair of Obama's campaign. And his tenure as governor has been an unqualified disaster for Massachusetts. His approval ratings are in the tank. I mean, there's a reason why Clinton leads McCain by 13 points in Massachusetts. But there is a broader question there, and that is, I think John McCain's going to win this election because he is the best Republican to pick up the pieces of the coalition that Barack Obama's nominee is going to leave behind. Obama has a very unfortunate problem getting Latino votes. I believe there's a racial background to that, which is very sad, but McCain's the one Republican with experience on Hispanic issues and immigration who can come in, pick up those votes, and help build a stronger Republican coalition in 2008.
We're coming into the summer here. What do you think is going to happen this summer? What's the most important thing that may happen this summer? What do you see happening?
Well, I'm going to go with the economy. I know Zach disagrees with me on this, but the economy, it drives America. If people think that we're having trouble in the economic sectors, then the rest of our country is going to go downhill. I think it's a very psychological thing. I think President Bush has taken steps to help resolve this, but there needs to be more done. I think the presidential candidates can hem and haw all they want, but it's more about what is the current administration going to do to set forth economic policies that will benefit us over the next 2 years.
Zach?
Well, I think the economy is very important, but I think the argument that John McCain is going to make is very simple. Yes, look at what the subprime mortgage crisis has done to our economy, but also just think about what a further terrorist attack would do to our country. We saw this week President Bush was essentially vindicated. North Korea was giving nuclear power plant modeled after the Yongbyon reactor to the Syrians. I mean, it doesn't take too much of a leap of logic to imagine if we had left Saddam Hussein in power in North Korea, who was already selling missiles to Hussein in 2003, might have made a similar arrangement with Saddam. And in 2002, what the U.S. government did is they ran a scenario on what would happen if a smallpox vaccine was released in Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Georgia. The result was within 3 months, 1 million dead, 3 million with smallpox. And I think John McCain can credibly say, the subprime mortgage crisis was bad, I have an economic stimulus package to deal with that, but a terrorist attack on this country would not just put us into a recession, it would put this entire world into a global depression. And I think that's an argument that McCain is well qualified to make given his background.
All right, well, we're going to have to leave it at that. That's all the time we have for this segment. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
tonight.
having
Thank
us.
you.
And sorry that you're a senior, and this will be your first and only appearance.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right. To recap our top story this evening, University Police Chief Delores Stafford supports the arming of campus police officers. The news comes as a part of a larger industry-wide report that Stafford worked on. A quick program note, this is the last broadcast of this program, Upfront, and GWTV for this semester. We wish you well on your finals, and we'll see you in the fall. This program continues online anytime at gwtelevision.com/upfront. For GWTV, I'm Andrew Springer. Good night.